So for story time today, you are going to get to watch our ducklings. Hopefully they're not too loud. While they are having a bath and a snack. And I'm going to read you a chapter out of our book, The Amazing Animal Adventures. And this one is about Sugar, the cross-country traveler. Like any cat, Sugar, a part Persian house pet, lived in her own secret world. She followed her night trails into the countryside. She met up with friends and enemies unknown to her owners. And she withdrew to sunning spots to tuck her paws under her chest and snooze. But unlike any other cat, Sugar was endowed with an uncanny sense of geography, and she would go down in scientific record as the cat who was guided by a still unrecognized means of knowing. When she was apparently several years old, Sugar walked into a farmhouse in California. She had long creamy hair and copper eyes, and soon the owners of the farmhouse were giving her bowls of cream and bits of fish. They also gave her a lot of affection. One day, when Mrs. Wood picked the cat up to stroke her beautiful fur and say nice things to her, her fingers found a deformity in Sugar's left hip. It did not seem to interfere with the cat's stride or agility, but it was there. Sugar became a permanent resident of the Woods' home. She took up the cat role of mouser and patrolled the property. Gradually, she bonded not with the house, as do most cats, but with Mr. and Mrs. Woods. The relationship between them deepened over the years. The only problem Sugar presented her owners was that she would not ride in cars. They could not take her on vacations. They could not take her on visits to family and friends. Sugar seemed to be saying to the Woodses that her deformed hip was due to an automobile accident, but they could not know for sure. Sugar brought them mice and crickets, told them with a meow that she was hungry, or with a meow that she wanted the door open. But where she came from and what had happened to her remained her secret. Then came the crisis. The Woodses had the opportunity to move to a farm in Oklahoma, and they did not turn it down. Feeling that it would be cruel to force Sugar to ride 1,500 miles in a car, they did what they thought best. They gave Sugar to a neighbor who was eager to have her. Although they would miss her, they knew she had a good home, and they drove away satisfied that Sugar would be happy. 2 weeks after the Woodses left California, Sugar disappeared. 14 months later, so 14 months, that's like over a year later, Mrs. Woods was in her barn working when a part Persian cat leaped through the window and landed softly on her shoulder. Do you know who the cat is? Mrs. Woods took her in her arms. She saw the cream-colored fur and the copper eyes. Then she ran her fingers over the hip. "Sugar," she said, "it's you." Mrs. Woods called her friend in California. "Yes," she said, "Sugar did run away." No one had given her a ride. No one had reported seeing her. Sugar had crossed 1,500 miles of deserts and mountains. She had passed through or around towns. She had eaten well, avoided cars, and had somehow found the Woodses on their new farm in Oklahoma. Sugar's story would be hard to believe if Mr. and Mrs. Woods hadn't known that they had left Sugar in California and that she arrived a year and 2 months later on their Oklahoma farm. Even now, scientists at Duke University wonder what signals from the earth Sugar listened to on her long journey across the southwestern United States. Sugar keeps those secrets to herself, too. Ooh. The next one we're going to read is about Blind Tom, the working hero of the railroad. So we're going to have to see who he is. Okay, I hope you enjoyed listening to the story today and watching the ducklings play.